Yes, what is up everyone, and welcome to the show that makes you smarter, because now you're gonna know a little something about every big game that's happening from around the world this weekend. So as a thank you to me, hit that goddamn subscription button already. And yes, that was super aggressive, but I don't know how else to get your attention. Slam that button. Do it! Anyway, you know what time it is. It's previews and predictions time, and last week I asked you to predict the right score for the Manchester United-Arsenal game, and I want all 90 of those minutes back of my life. I said it would end 2-2, and it ended 1-1. So I was pretty much right, minus the exact score. But there were a lot of you that did end up getting the right score exactly right. You guys were perfect, but as promised, and like I said, because I'm not made of stickers, I'm only picking 5 winners. And they are Easy Daniel, Jason Garcia, JC Vega, Jethro Alcantara. I don't know if you're related to Tiago, but if you are, super cool. And Coffee for Corporate Counsel, which is a goddamn mouthful of a name. Where did you come up with that? Anyway, congrats to all of the winners, and apologies to everyone who got the right score but didn't get chosen. So just for this once, I'll let you say, piss off, Conradinho, you bastard. But then we have to be friends again. And all right, let's get to it. Let's get to the games that I'll be spying on this weekend with these things in my eye sockets. And first up is Liverpool versus Leicester, because like everyone else around the world that pays attention to the Premier League, I expected Liverpool to be good this season, but Leicester City, not so much. In fact, let me see where I predicted them to finish in my Premier League preview. Hopefully you guys watched that. It was really good. 10th. And right now, after losing only 1 game out of their first 7, they're currently in 3rd. Only 2 points behind second place Manchester City, but a full 7 points behind first place Liverpool. So this game could have huge implications for not only Leicester, but for the table overall as City try to regain some ground on the Reds. Which means you know former Reds manager, now current Leicester manager, Brendan Rodgers is going to do everything in his power to win this game so he can prove that he's a better manager than Jurgen Klopp. Which he's not, but he can try. And given Liverpool's lack of focus midweek, when they let a 3-goal lead slip away at Anfield against RB Salzburg in the Champions League only to win it late, maybe they're not as sharp as they need to be. Plus, Leicester coming off a huge ass-kicking performance against my Newcastle 5-0, and I don't want to talk about it, so their confidence should be very high when the whistle blows. However, playing at Anfield can be quite intimidating, as Salzburg showed when they went down 3-0 pretty easily. And this is important, Liverpool have developed this quality that every champion needs to have if they want to win significant trophies, and that's winning games even when you don't play well. So as much as I think Leicester will be game for this match, I just feel like the quality of Liverpool is going to wear them down, and I'm going to say 3-2 to the Reds. And up next, we head to Italy for another manager taking on his former club, and it's a big one, as Antonio Conte and his new club Inter Milan host the 8-time defending Serie A champions Juventus. And like Brendan Rodgers, you know Conte's going to want to win this one so bad. Probably more than any other game that he's ever wanted to win. Okay, that might be a stretch, but you know what I'm trying to say. But the problem with that mentality is that it can lead you into making emotional decisions instead of sensible ones. So we'll see if Inter's new boss can keep things in check, especially since he started to unravel emotionally midweek in Barcelona for the Champions League group stages, which earned him a yellow card, after his team played exceptionally well, but unfortunately, they still found themselves on the wrong side of a 2-1 result. And to that I say, listen, when Luis Suarez is hot, what are you gonna do? You just have to applaud the guy for being so good at what he does, and that's scoring great goals. Okay, fine, not all of his goals are great, but those 2 goals were out of this world. And it makes me wonder if Luis Suarez saw my tweet where I said that Robert Lewandowski is the best number 9 in the world currently, and he's like, piss off, Conradinho, you bastard. Now that result aside, Inter, who I consider to be the only legit challengers to Juve this season, because Napoli just don't do it for me. And I don't know why. I mean, they're going to be good because they have some great players and a great manager who I really respect, but it's not going to be good enough. And I can't give you details. It's more of a feeling deep down inside. Anyway, Inter have a lot to be proud of so far this season, having won 6 out of 6 games in the league by quickly adapting to the demands, I believe, of Conte's system. But this is going to be their first real test in Serie A. And I believe Juve is going to be up for it because I feel like they're thirsting for some competition in the league, someone to push them to their limits, which is why, at least so far this season, I feel like we've seen them play to the level of their competition and then doing just enough to win. Or maybe their lack of domination so far is due to them adapting to their new manager Maurizio Sarri and his style and philosophy and system. Either way, this is going to be a great match, and I can't wait to watch it. Also, for my prediction, if Romelu Lukaku is fit, I think Inter will win. If he isn't, I think they're going to lose. That's how vital I feel like Lukaku is to that team. And you heard it here first. Stamp it. Love it. You know I'm going to be right. And next up, let's go to Spain to talk about Barcelona versus Sevilla, because not only does this game have a history of being high scoring, there were 13 goals combined in their last 2 meetings. That's a fun fact for you, which just both happen to be Barcelona wins. Another fun fact for you. It's a big game this season for both teams. We're both trying to grasp some consistency. Sevilla were undefeated and on top of the table after the first 4 weeks. Then they stumbled a bit before securing a huge 3-2 comeback win over Real Sociedad last week. While Barcelona, who still seem nowhere near the peak of their capabilities due to injuries or their manager Ernesto Valverde figuring out their best 11, well, they've won 3 straight games, which should make everyone a little bit nervous, including a comeback win over Inter Milan midweek in the Champions League, which should give them a ton of confidence, as should the return of an almost 100% fit Leo Messi into the starting squad. So as much as I like what Juan Lopetegui has going with Sevilla, especially with some of his new signings like Joan Jordan and Lucas Ocampos, who have both been fantastic this season, I just think that Barcelona has a little bit more quality in the fine margins, and they're going to squeak out another high-scoring game, 3-2. And now we head to Germany for Bayern Munich versus Hoffenheim, because I just want to see how Bayern, who now sit alone at the top of the Bundesliga after RB Leipzig surprisingly lost to Schalke at home last week, well, I want to see how they play after they slapped around the Champions League finalist Spurs 7-2 a few days earlier in the Champions League, because, I mean, how could you not think that you were the greatest thing to ever lace up the boots after a performance like that? So in some ways, I expect a bit of a letdown, because how could they not? But given how good and professional these players are, and the fact that you're expected to play well every time you put on the Bayern shirt, maybe there won't be a letdown at all. Maybe this Spurs result was a wake-up call to their team about just how good they really are. Sometimes you need those types of performances to look around and be like, yeah, we're awesome. We're pretty good. We probably want to keep playing like that. And I think it's a wake-up call to the rest of the Bundesliga and all of Europe that Bayern are for real this season, which, if they play like they did against Spurs every single week, they should be in the running for every trophy imaginable. So now we head back to England for Millwall versus Leeds, because these two clubs are two of the most hated in the country. And even better, they hate each other. So this one should be a cracking affair, especially since both sides come into this one needing a win due to their recent form. Everybody loves us because we are Millwall, haven't won in their last 7 championship games to sit in 18th, which is not very good. They need to fix that as soon as possible, while Leeds have come back to earth after a hot start to only win 2 out of their last 5, though thankfully for them, they still sit in second. But given Leeds' injury situation, which in short, they have a lot of injuries and to some key players, mixed in with Millwall's overall scrappiness, which is not a knock on them, by the way, it's a compliment. Especially from me, since I was a scrappy player, you know, where my desire was greater than my talents. I think this one is going to end in a 1-1 hard-fought draw, with a few Millwall and Leeds supporters spending the night in jail after a fight. And now we head to North America for the biggest fixture on MLS's last day of the regular season, and it's between the Portland Timbers and the San Jose Earthquakes. If the Timbers earn a draw at home, a place that was once a fortress but has become less so since they've won only 2 out of the last 8 games at Providence Park, which is unacceptable for their standards, they will make the playoffs. They just need a draw. But if they lose and San Jose win, the Earthquakes, my old former team, before Kansas City, will make the playoffs. So this is going to be the game to watch in MLS this weekend. And I'll be watching it along with all the other games for Decision Day from New York City with everyone from MLS's headquarters. So make sure you tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern on MLS's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube page, and come heckle me. That's what I want. And then we'll be doing post-game coverage as well, which kicks off at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So do it. I dare you. And write Conradinho sent me in the comments so I know that you watched this video. Also, I picked the Quakes to win their must-win game last week, and they lost in the 94th minute to the Seattle Sounders. It was tragic. So this time, I'm going to pick them to lose and reverse jinx it for them to win. So even though I love so many people associated with and working for the Timbers, let's go Quakes. And then finally, I have to talk a little Clásico Joven in Mexico between Cruz Azul and Club America, because this is the second week in a row for a big derby for America. They beat Chivas Guadalajara 4-1 last week in a somewhat controversial Super Clásico, but it wouldn't be a Super Clásico without some controversy. I thought the referee was a little bit more in favor of America, and I'm sure Chivas fans agree with me. So we'll see what happens this time around in a game that Cruz Azul needs to win. And I'm not just saying that Cruz Azul needs to win because they fired their Portuguese manager Pedro Caixinha, who looks just like me, so they clearly couldn't handle all the guapo that man was bringing to the table. I'm saying it because Cruz Azul are sitting in 14th, 4 points out of the last playoff spot with 5 games to go, and because they haven't won in 2.5 months. So they're going to need to win the rest of their last 5 games to make it, which is a long way of saying that they need a goddamn miracle, and I don't think they're gonna get it, because they shouldn't have fired Pedro Caixinha. Anyway, that is it. That is all I got. So thank you for watching. As always, I love you guys. And then, pick the right score for Inter Milan versus Juventus, and if you get it exactly right, you'll be entered to win some dope-ass warm baller stickers. So good luck. I'll pick 5 winners, and then come find me on Sunday on MLS's social media platforms and come heckle me, and then have a good or bad weekend, everyone. Later.